So in 2024, I got a lot of different credit cards, accumulated well over 1 million credit card points, and it was quite literally the most I ever traveled in my entire life. And at that, had some of the most life-changing experiences I've ever had. So now that 2025 is upon us, we need a new strategy, a new game plan for the entire year. Which cards are going to get to maximize the most amount of travel, vacations, and everything to really play the points and miles game how it is supposed to be played. So as far as credit cards are concerned, 2024 was a very easy year. I mean, most of the cards that were accumulated all were Chase Ink business cards to keep racking up these Chase points for a lot of travel that is going to come into fruition in 2025. And you guys know that I really went hard with it that this whole year. I've been able to accumulate about 850,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points between all the welcome offers, between my wife and I, referrals between my wife and I, and some of you that are watching. So I thank you for that. However, you guys know I've been making some videos about this whole tightening up the approval process with Doctor of Credit, to which literally it seems like, after a certain amount of ink cards getting harder and harder to get approved. I know this kind of firsthand with my wife actually applying for her third Chase Ink credit card this entire year and getting denied. I'm now on my second or third recon. By the time you're watching this, probably like the fourth recon, if they don't actually approve me. But it all stems back to, well, it's going to get a little bit harder this year. It's not going to be as easy as just get that card every single quarter, every couple months, and then, just putting all the spend on that all willy-nilly. A lot of things have changed, and with that, our strategies have to change. So while the train is not fully pulling into the station, I will say it's not something I'm going to actively pursue as I once did last year. And I'm really going to try and diversify some of the point systems that I'm going to be earning in this given year. So that brings me to my second point and how it all kind of relates back to how I'm going to use these points for travel. And spoiler alert, we booked a trip to Puerto Rico and we are in the midst of booking a trip to Amsterdam at the moment, which I'm going to outline a little bit further in this video. But the second thing I actually wanted to mention, which has to do with some of the points I want to acquire, which is I've been loving my Chase points. I've been loving my chasing cards, getting Chase points, transfer half of it to Hyatt. I still have half of it in my Chase travel portal between my wife and I. But it doesn't necessarily mean just because I can't get the ink cards as often, I'm still down and out by getting some Chase cards. There's actually two cards that I'm planning to get in 2025 that is going to foot a lot of this bill. The first one you might actually be surprised by, but that is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And I know some of you are thinking like, wait a second, Anthony, you literally just showed me on the camera right now in the bottom corner of your screen, like the Chase Sapphire Preferred. You have one of these already. In fact, you and your wife have a Sapphire Preferred. So how are you getting a welcome offer or for some of these Chase cards? Why would you get it again? And the answer to that is, well, if you just look down a little bit further, if you go towards the welcome offer, you guys probably know this at home, but for those who don't, this product is available to you if you do not have or have had a Sapphire card in the last 48 months. That's right. And what just happens to be right around the corner, let's just say not necessarily right around the corner, but about a year from now, around October or November in 2025, I'm actually going to be hitting my 48 months, my 4 years of having the Sapphire Preferred card. That's right. We're actually getting to our fourth year. And it's not just mine, it's also my wife's. I think 4 years ends up being October, November for me, and then December for her. So both of us in 2025 are going to reapply after downgrading our Sapphire Preferreds to another Sapphire Preferred. And hopefully at that time, we could be as lucky as we were the first time around and get a welcome offer of 100,000 points. So right then and there, I'm already going to be rejuvenating what points I'm going to spend this entire year with just the two Sapphire Preferred. So hopefully like 160 to 200,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points, without factoring in referrals if we end up getting that this year, which, obviously we hope we do. So right off the bat, that is a card I'm going to be getting and my wife's going to be getting guaranteed by the end of the year. So I think that's an important measure right there for one of the cards we're going to get. The next thing is actually a little bit more, and we're going to segment this by Chase, Amex, Citi. There's a few other ecosystems that I want to talk about, Capital One. But in the way of Chase, so the Sapphire Preferreds, next is actually going to be a little bit surprising, but that is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. And I know, I get it. You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy. Like we're getting all these high flying cards. Why are we looking at a Freedom Unlimited? Well, the thing is, you can actually get some pretty good value from the Freedom Unlimiteds depending on what offer you actually can get. So let me explain. So I guess right now the standard public offer is, I guess offer is ending soon. Spend $500 in the first 3 months, get $250 bonus, aka 25,000 Chasehold reward points. So that's cool. And my wife and I both do not have this card, which means we would be eligible to actually get the welcome offer on this card. So that could be an easy 50,000 points, or a little bit more with referrals, right? Maybe 55,000 points, something like that. But one thing I'm actually considering, and the way I have been able to find this offer is on my website, AnthonyVenture.com. If you just click the big yellow button, the first link right here is this offer on the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Earn an extra 1.5% back on everything you buy on up to 20,000 spend. Now, I don't necessarily love this cap, but essentially what this does is just gives you a 3% catch-all card on everything, for the entire year, up to 20K spent, something like that. But of course, it's additional like 6.5 on travel, 4.5 on dining, drugstores, and then 3x on everything else. And I think it's a great offer. However, I'm going to be looking out to see if we get maybe an even better offer. There was one that happened in October last year, something like that, where we actually got this benefit, but everything was doubled. So like 3x catch-all, but then 10x travel. It was 6x dining and drugstores, et cetera, with no cap. So if there's an ability to get this card with, even if there is a cap, okay, sure. But ability to get a 3% catch-all card, or maybe doubling some of the multipliers for an entire year, I might actually opt into getting a card like this. I might actually opt into applying for something like this and just using that for the entire year, because I was actually quite surprised at some of the value I've been getting back from my Chase Ink Unlimited, where I'm just getting 1.5% on everything. But I've been using it for quite literally almost everywhere except for, like, most grocery stores. I'm using the butcher shop, stuff like that. But I've realized, like, oh, I can actually rack up a lot of points just through multipliers alone. So if I'm not going to be chasing some welcome offers, I'm not going, fancy, crazy things for all the year that I'm not signing up for all these cards, I might consider going for a either spend 500, get 200 back, something like that on the Freedom Unlimited, or a 3% catch all and everything, and just use that for everything. Just use it for absolutely everything. I think there's a real world where that kind of makes sense for me to earn in that currency that I want, which is Chase. However, beyond that, there's actually some other things I kind of want to get done that's outside of Chase points. Like I said, I got about 400,000 Chase points, 400,000 Hyatt. I'm kind of covered for a while with that alone until we start traveling. And so another thing that's going to be happening very, very soon is I'm gonna have to pay taxes. This YouTube channel, fortunately, we did pretty well this year, and I actually think we're probably gonna have to pay a tax bill of around $5,000, something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just assuming it's going to be around there, of a tax bill of 5K after write-offs. Fortunately, we're able to keep growing this channel and things like that. And basically, this is my full-time job now, so I appreciate everyone who even chimes into my nonsense on these videos. And hopefully, I add a little bit of insight. But with that, yeah, we have to pay, upwards of 30% in self-employment taxes. And with that, like I said, about $5,000 tax bill on top of all the other spend. Like, I have realtor fees. I'm a realtor out here. I have dues that I have to pay every single quarter for that. I have HOA. Now we have property tax, all these different things that I could put towards these cards in like this period of time, January. I'm filming this January 8th. So I want to have a card that I can maximize my taxes on. And for that, the best thing in my mind is just getting a welcome offer. Now, it's kind of taking a page out of Spencer Johnson's book. I know he applied for the business gold right around this time for the exact same reason last year, and I think it's for a good reason. For example, right now, the Amex Business Gold card, you can see if this offer is available. I want to find one that's like this, where it's spend 15K. I actually saw one that was spend 10K. So if I could do 10K, that's amazing. That I can get done. But if I could find 10K and get 200K points back or 150K points back, I might end up getting an Amex Business Gold just because the welcome offer is so high, and I have the highest chance of getting approved for this card, where it's a business card, it's Amex. I'm going to get, hopefully approved instantly, and it's not going to add to my 524 status. And yeah, sure, it's a 375 annual fee, but the points that I would earn from all that spend would outweigh that, many, many times over, especially how I plan to use it going forward, which we're going to get into some airlines for international travel. So I think that's interesting. That's definitely something I definitely want to hit up. And if you guys have any other ideas where to put like 10K worth to spend, let me know down below. I would love to get an ink preferred, but I just don't think they'll actually approve me right now. And so if we go a little bit further and kind of getting into how I want to use some of my points in this year, and then we'll talk about some other cards I want to get, is I actually just booked this trip. We actually just booked the Puerto Rico. We're going to Puerto Rico in November next year, and it's going to be at this hotel right here. So I just booked 5 nights at the Caribe Hilton. Hopefully we said it right, and it's a little bit inflated now, but it was about 70,000 points per night, meaning we only needed 280,000 Hilton Honors points to book 5 nights at this location. And you guys know with Hilton, you can get fifth night free. So one of them is, obviously, discounted. And it's a really nice property. It's an awesome property. And the reason that I'm going here is because of the meetup. We're going to have a Puerto Rico meetup, all completely led by our good friend Cesar Joel. And if you want details on that, it's in the Venture Capital Discord link down below and in the pinned comment. But it's a great hotel. And for, 70,000 points each night, 5 nights in Puerto Rico. I mean, I could think of worse ways to spend our points, right? And I think this is going to be one of the most fun trips. It's technically going to be I guess at this point, it would be the second trip that I'm actually flying outside of the continental United States, right? So I think that's going to be really, really awesome. And I'm really excited that I just burned 280,000 points on that. But kind of going back to the business gold and why I want an Amex card is because I didn't have 280,000 Hilton points to book this hotel. No, no. I had about half of that. I had about half of those points. I had about 140,000 Hilton points, and it basically bankrupted me. So how did I end up getting the other half, the 140,000, to hit 280K for this Hilton booking? Well, I ended up transferring 70,000 membership reward points from Amex, leaving me now with a total of just about 60 or 70,000 Amex points left after transferring out 1 to 2 from Hilton, even though it wasn't on a bonus like 30% multiplier 2.6. I just wanted to guarantee that I had those rooms, and I did not want it to get sold out because I know a lot of people are going to be booking there. So we ended up booking that, burned 280,000 points, and now I'm bankrupted in Hilton. And that's kind of why I'm kind of looking at the business gold, something like that, because I want some more MR points to replenish. So this way, if there's ever a situation like this again, I'm going to have a good stash of Amex points to transfer to Hilton or to transfer to some other airlines, which again, we're going to talk about. And speaking of Puerto Rico and booking this trip, you also have to fly there, right? I can't swim there. I can't drive there. I can't flap my arms and get there, but I can fly there on a plane. And of course, to get there, I'll have to take a plane, and that's going to be from, GSP, Greenville, Spartanburg, where I live, and my home airport. And we'll have to fly all the way down to San Juan, Puerto Rico. And I think it's going to be an amazing time and an amazing trip. But how am I going to get there? How do I plan to fly there? Now, no matter what, since it's such a small airport, regional, we're going to always have to do a layover in Atlanta before we could actually fly direct to Puerto Rico. And what just so happens to be at Atlanta, and what I really truly love about the Atlanta airport, well, of course, it's going to be the Sky Clubs. Of course, terrain lounges as well, but I love the Sky Clubs in Atlanta. There's so many of them. I've never really had an issue with crowding whenever I've been there, and all those different things. So I really love the Sky Clubs, and the fact that I could get me and my wife in completely for free, depending obviously which terminal you go to. Some terminals you can just kind of walk in, and you kind of can slip by without paying. But normally there's like a $50 fee to get your guest in. But I have a way of actually getting that completely for free, which I'll talk about. But I love my Sky Clubs, and if I'm going to be flying there, I want to have access to these Sky Clubs, and that's what kind of relates me to something I did not too long ago, which was I ended up canceling my Amex Platinum card. I did that 3 months ago because I knew I was not going to be traveling for maybe 6 months, something like that, from the time that I canceled. And I didn't want to foot that $700 annual fee, at least for half the year when I know I'm not going to use it at all. So I canceled the card, and it was all with the caveat of a plan of what to do with my Amex Gold card. I kind of outlined it a little bit in this video, but I talked about why I'm not canceling, and it was due to before the revamp, I only had a $250 annual fee. So I figured it was all value add when the Amex Gold card got revamped and gave us Resi, all these different things. But it was also with a little bit of a plan in mind that I could, at some point when the annual fee hits, which it's going to be February, so about a month from now, when the annual fee hits on my Amex Gold card, I'm going to have to make a choice. And that's whether to cancel it, which was basically the plan, or what was more likely to happen is downgrade it. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And the reason you would downgrade it is, well, you can foot the bill of a much cheaper annual fee, have that as a placeholder. And when the time comes that you need the platinum card again to give you access to the Delta Sky Club, give you access to the Centurion lounges, all these different lounges, you can just re-upgrade back hopefully with an offer of like 30 to 50,000 points for a couple thousand worth of spend, upgrade, get your platinum card again, now more points richer, and you didn't have to foot the bill of all those annual fees, and you never had to reapply for the card itself since this was the original card. You just downgraded and upgraded, right? That is one of the plans and probably what I am going to do when that time comes. But I also agree that if you downgrade the Amex Gold card to just a normal green card, it's still a bit of an annual fee, right? It's $150, and I don't necessarily need clear because my wife and I both have it at the moment. Yes, I could definitely take advantage of it, but I don't necessarily need it at this moment. So my plan is if they're still allowing it, and some of you may not even realize this is a thing, but you can actually quite literally, if eligible, downgrade your green card to the traditional green card. Some of you know OGs of the channel. You guys kind of see me do this a million different times or talk about it. The traditional green card, it's one you can't apply for. It's under the radar. You have to know about it. But if you have your Amex green card, you could ask them like, "Hey, can I downgrade to the traditional green?" If it's on your account and you're eligible, they'll allow you to downgrade. And sometimes the agents don't even know it exists. So make sure to ask again if they're like that doesn't exist. Ask the Amex chat a couple times, get a new customer service person, what have you, but it does exist because it's literally in my hand. So you can downgrade to the traditional green card. This card only has like a $50 annual fee, so 3 times less than the Amex green card standard. And you can just keep this as your placeholder. So this way, when the time comes, upgrade back to the green card. There's going to be no offer on that, likely. I don't think so. And you can upgrade to this card. Okay, cool. If you really want to game it, upgrade to the gold card, take like a 30K membership reward points upgrade offer. And then from there, upgrade your gold card. And when you need the lounges, upgrade to the platinum card and take like a 50K offer on that. This is something that's been popularized pretty hugely by Sledging Team and our good friend Cesar Joel. And it's something I actually really plan to implement into 2025 as I will come to the point where I need to use lounges, right? Because I really don't want to live without the lounges. I love the lounges, and I just wanted to save some money in the meantime. And I think this is a good way to do it. And part of the equation on this hotel specifically is it is a Hilton brand Hilton. And you guys know if you're a Hilton Gold member or above, you're actually going to be getting dining credits towards this Hilton brand itself, upwards to $30 per day. But you only get that if you're Hilton Gold. And considering I do not have the platinum card right now, I do not have Hilton Gold. So by that point, by the time I'm here, I want to have that platinum card back. So this way I can get complimentary Hilton Gold. So this way I could take advantage of the $30 per day of the 5 nights that were there. I mean, that's $150 in drinks at least, right? That's pretty powerful. And we're going to be spending that money regardless. Of course, I could always get a Hilton Surpass card, $150 annual fee, another gold status, but I'll have the platinum card anyway by that time for that trip. So you might as well use the gold status from the platinum card and nowhere else to take advantage for this hotel. And so at least that's covering the lounges, but then it also does not necessarily cover like how I'm going to fly there, like what airline currency, points currencies, what have you. Am I going to use a portal? All those different things. And the answer to that is, well, I actually truthfully think I'm going to go through the portal. Some of you guys might be saying that's crazy, that's ridiculous, but I mean, check this out. I mean, I know there's so many different, airlines you can go through. There's so many different airlines to book. I'm looking at Air France, Air Canada, Alaska, just to get these alliances like One World, all these different things. And I'm just trying to see like how many different airlines are going there, other than just like a Delta or something like that. And I found some pretty good deals. Like if you look right here, flying from Greenville to San Juan, there's some pretty cool deals, like 25K on Alaska, with just $19 in taxes, mixed between first and business class. I mean, that's a really good deal. The only thing is, like, okay, you're getting in at 2 a.m., and that's already wasting my first day that I'm there. And I might actually just book the day before and get there a day early, just book a random hotel, and then go to the Hilton afterwards. And I honestly think that is a great plan. That is a great thing that I could do. And I might, in fact, actually do this because for only 50K miles, me and wife can get there in first and business class. And I just kind of want to book those classes. I get some of you guys listening, like, just do main. It's so cheap. What the hell are you worried about? But I don't know. I kind of like it. Like if it's just like a little bit more, I'll pay a little bit more for that flight. It's kind of worth it, I think, at that moment. But again, you might just call me stupid for that. But when I was going through the portal, I actually saw some pretty good rates. I mean, yes, of course, I saw 50K on Alaska like just then, and some other airlines as well that I've heard and I've seen. But I also have a lot of chase points, and I'm not too shy to use them. And I found that even though it's maybe slightly more expensive, it might be slightly easier to book in this way, to where I could actually get the time that I want, for the seats that I want and for the day that I want all through the portal and just kind of effectively use my chase points for everything. It's a little bit inflated. It's about double the price as the one we just saw in Alaska, but I saw that there's a flight that actually could book Comfort Plus Delta on every single leg of the flight, and it could go from GSP to San Juan round trip for 2 tickets for 100,000 chase points, which I think is not too bad considering I have 400,000 and the two Sapphire preferreds that me and my wife are going to get is probably going to be close to 200,000 points at the end of the year anyway. So I figured since I have an abundance of chase points, I might actually do that as well. But I also agree, you guys are going to let me know down below, maybe some other deals that are better than the 100K chase points or a partner to transfer to that's better than Alaska at 50K for our first in business. Again, I might just book Alaska for 50K. That's really easy. One of the cards I got in 2025 was this Hawaiian Airlines card, which is going to give me 70,000 miles through Hawaiian, which now they have that merger. So now I could transfer Hawaiian to Alaska. And that's already booking my 2 round trip tickets there and back. So I might actually just go with that instead. Now, if I don't actually want to pay any points and miles for the flight to Puerto Rico, there's something else I could do. There's something else that I think that would be fairly interesting to do, not only for my own experience on the channel, but also like could save a little bit of money depending on how we do it. Now, I have this card, the Delta Gold Sky Miles business credit card, right? I have this credit card. I love this credit card, and it's a business card. Remember that. And one thing that this card does not do that we could potentially have it do to kind of game the whole flight to Puerto Rico is something that the Platinum card comes with. The Delta Platinum business card comes with. Now, the Delta Platinum card comes with a few different things that I could use, like the $100, $20 Resi credit, cool, whatever. $200 Delta stays, so some hotel stays, very cool. $120 rideshare credit, yes, I could use that in the US, unfortunately not abroad, but it does have something called a companion certificate. That's right. If you're going to be booking a main cabin flight round trip, and of course I did mention earlier, like booking Comfort Plus or first class, business class for Puerto Rico, but for the experience, it might be worth me upgrading my Delta Gold business card to the Delta Platinum business card and getting a companion certificate. So now notice I said upgrade. Notice I said upgrade and not apply for. And there's a big distinction to this. The reason is if you just apply for the Delta Platinum card, you're like, oh, I want to use that companion certificate, right? Like I want to pay cash for a flight. So let's say the flight to Puerto Rico is $500. Okay, I'll pay cash. And then now I have a free ticket for my wife, less the taxes and fees. So that's essentially how the companion certificate works. However, when you apply for the Delta Platinum card, you only get the companion certificate after the first year. That's right. So you pay a 350 annual fee, get a few credits here and there, wait a full year, 365, paid another 350 annual fee, and then you get your companion certificate. So now that it's January and that flight would be next November, I don't have time to be able to apply for that card to get the companion certificate. But if I were to just upgrade the Delta Gold card when the anniversary of the Gold card comes around, like a week prior, which is going to be in like July, something like that, I can technically, and something our boy Sledge found, is you could actually just upgrade the Delta Gold card till the Platinum business, wait a couple days for the annual fee to hit from the original card. You'll pay the annual fee on the Platinum card, but you'll also get a companion certificate within, those few days or whatever, how long it takes to get the companion certificate, literally on your first year, because it's taking the card member year from the original card, not as if it's a new card just being opened. So you don't have to wait a full year to get the companion certificate if you do it in this way and you upgrade. That's something Sledge found and something I kind of want to take advantage of. I think it would be interesting. I think it would be a good video. Uh, just at the end of the day, I think that would be a lot of fun. So that's part of the strategy for going to Puerto Rico as well, in conjunction with the points. I'll probably lean towards just doing the points though, to be honest. So on that trip, I've already burned 200,000 Hilton Honors points, and then probably anywhere between 50,000 Alaskan and 100,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points, somewhere in that way is what I'm going to be burning on that trip. And it's going to be 5 nights there. I think it's going to be amazing. There is some more travel though. There is some more travel that we're planning finally. And I'm looking into it. I'm very close to booking. And that is actually going international in international waters. We're going to be flying abroad finally. And some of you may know, but about a couple of years ago, I transferred about 150,000 Amex points, membership reward points, over to Air France. It was because that's what I thought was good at the time to transfer to. I didn't realize that it maybe wasn't the best partner to transfer to for the places I wanted to book. But now we're coming kind of full circle to where, yeah, I actually think I could make great use out of these miles in the way of business class flights direct either from Atlanta, over here, not too far from me, direct to Amsterdam or into Paris, Charles de Gaulle. Actually, right here, I saw some decent deals. I've scoured Air France enough to know where some of the lowest prices are and some of the highest are. And I actually saw one that was pretty decent for the end of February, Atlanta to Charles de Gaulle, 11 hours with one connection, 214,000 miles for two passengers. And that's a one-way flight. Not two ways, unfortunately. But I also found, if I could find it on the screen again, I will. And I was able to find another one way flight about a week or so after that departure date of around 140,000 miles for business class back all the way actually straight to my home airport of GSP. So I was like, okay, so maybe for about 350,000 Air France miles, I can book two business class tickets on Air France all the way to Amsterdam or Paris and back. And considering I already have 150,000 there, all I would really need to do is if I want to bankrupt my Amex points, that's 60,000 I have left in there, throw that there. And I would only have to actually foot the bill of about 150,000 Chase points since that's a transfer partner, transfer Chase 150 to Air France. And wham bam, we have over a week in, I guess, Amsterdam, Paris, Italy, wherever we're going to actually like travel to while we're actually there. But two business class tickets on, from what some people say is a great airline to do business class on. So I think that would be really fun. And even if I did do all that, I would still end up having a few 100,000 Chase points left over. And don't forget, we have to look at hotels because I still have 400,000 World of Hyatt points that is going to be used to book, week or weeks in Europe whenever we should actually book that this year. A couple to note, like if you want to do a few days in Amsterdam, I know there's some really nice properties for specifically, I know this Andaz, some people have recommended to me already, and it does look very, very cool. 25,000 points a night, especially for an Andaz category 6 or this Hyatt Regency in Amsterdam. You guys who have actually been here can probably give me some more insight. I'm also looking in Paris for I guess, the Hotel de Louvre. But I think some people have mentioned the Park Hyatt here. I think actually Sebi might have mentioned in one of his videos, this is a really, really nice hotel. So that might be something I'd go and do as well. And I'm really not trying to save any pennies. Like I'm trying to burn a lot of these points this year. I really want 2025 to be the year of travel. And then, of course, World of Hyatt for Rome. If we end up going to Italy, we're going to book that Palazzo Manfredi under Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's probably about 40, 50K a night, or hopefully this Thompson. I don't know when that's going to get built, but a lot of different hotels to book for all of this travel that's going to be coming up. And I'm so excited to actually finally be able to do that in this year. So I just want to spare no expense. And if you guys have insights, let me know down below. But those are the two main trips that I plan on hitting up this year. So over a week, 2 weeks in, oh wow, happy birthday, 2 weeks in Europe. And then also we're going to do 5 days in Puerto Rico for sure. We're going to get that done. There's going to be little trips here and there, of course. And part of all that is also to kind of relate to like, hey, even if I didn't want necessarily the platinum card, one thing I do have and I'm going to be able to use in my strategy for 2025 is this Venture X card. Now, this isn't mine. This is the authorized user from Calvi, but it is mine. It's my name on it for the authorized user. But with the Venture X, it's actually giving me eligibility to get into, well, of course, Capital One lounges, but that's domestic. But Priority Pass, which I know technically just got a little bit nerfed with, well, not only Venture X losing Plaza Premium, but then also Priority Pass limiting, I guess, the amount of guests you can have in for authorized users. So something like that, I'll put an article on there. I think I might have misspoke. But at least for this, I can get me and my wife in any Priority Pass lounges, worldwide, and talking to a lot of folks. We know Priority passes abroad are really, really nice. So I'm really excited to be able to, if I don't have the platinum card, take the Venture X for a test drive abroad and see really, what these lounges are really like. So I think that would be really fun. And so that would be the plan to not only foot the bill of the business class flights there and back, the lounges and how it actually, enjoy the lounges there and back, whether I have a platinum card or not. But then I also wanted to go into a little bit of something I kind of foresee in the new future in 2025 outside of these cards that I talked about. And oddly enough, I can kind of see a world where I kind of go in on Citi a little bit. And let me explain this for a couple different reasons. So this card right here, it's kind of like the Trojan horse, I would say. So it's the AA Advantage, the American Airlines Advantage Aviator Red World Elite MasterCard, issued by Barclays. But some of you who've been keeping up with the recent news, we know that American Airlines and Citi have extended a partnership to which they actually will have exclusive rights to the American Airlines credit cards via Citi. And of course, there is some speculation that Citi is going to finally have American Airlines as a direct transfer partner, which in and itself would be very, very powerful. But one of the things that does state is that this card may, not exist. It may exist. It's going to be eventually taken over. The Barclays version is eventually it's going to be taken over by Citi. So this way, this is going to be the Citi A Advantage American Airlines credit card. And I think this card is powerful for a couple of reasons in and itself. One, you get 60,000 AA miles just making one purchase. So no minimum spend requirement, like 5K, something like that. No, you just make one purchase, one banana, 1 cent, and pay the $99 annual fee, and you get 60,000 AA miles. And why I think that's, pretty powerful, and it's going to be more powerful as time goes on, is in similar fashion to the Alaskan airline miles, since they're part of One World. The same thing can kind of be done with American Airlines, where you can see I can book American Airlines flights or some other airlines flights just with our Alaskan miles. We can kind of do a similar thing with our American Airlines miles as well on their portals, booking a lot of their partner airlines, even though American Airlines typically has really high value for their miles, at least for what we've heard from the YouTube community over the last few years, right? So I think that's a real play that I might take advantage of in this year. And then even beyond that, given this partnership with Citi and American Airlines, if AA is going to stay and be really valuable in their points currencies, there might be a real world where a lot of people start looking at Citi in a much greater light in this given year, where a lot of people start getting, some of these different credit cards. If you can get like 75,000 points with the Strata Premier and transfer that to AA, I mean, I think a lot of people would find value in that. And if that is going to be the case, yeah, I might do the same. I might try to, get some City cards as well, and they're really easy to earn points with and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. And even beyond that, and this is a little bit of a prediction, but our good friend Calby NG, love him, always finding little tricks and little like things here and there. I said it wasn't really going to mention it until I kind of actively went into it, but I just think it's very interesting. But one thing is, you guys know, City added Choice Hotels as a transfer partner in 2024, I guess right around June 2024, I guess it was now. God, time flies fast. You could actually transfer that at 1 to 2, kind of like Hilton points with American Express. And something that Calby and I were talking about yesterday, something he found specifically yesterday that I think is going to be really powerful as he kind of builds this out and we both experiment with this as time goes on, is that you could actually use choice points to book preferred hotels or resorts. And some of you guys may not know, but preferred hotels and resorts is like some of the most luxurious ones in the entire world. And typically they just have their own kind of currency. Like if you look right here with points, it's like I prefer points. And really nobody knows how to earn them, right? At least just me as a layman. I'm just thinking like out loud, like, oh, I don't know how to actually, earn I prefer points without, looking it up. But what he found, and I can't actually pull it up right here, but a lot of these hotels that he loves, like the Watergate Hotel in Washington, D.C., and some of these really nice hotels, Pendry, are all under the Preferred Hotels umbrella. But what he found is you could actually book these hotels with choice points. That's right. So right from City, earn those points straight to choice, and then you could book these some of the most luxurious hotels in the world with your choice points as well. I can't really remember, but this was like, I think he was looking at one where this was 40,000 points and like $1,000 cash rate. So it seems like the points are somewhat valuable through this program. And it's just another way to book all of your travel, not only through AA and just flights, but also hotels through your choice points via preferred. Going into the future and where I see not just me, but a lot of people in the community headed towards like maybe city centric going forward if all these partnerships kind of align going forward. And so I guess that would be like one of the 5 cards that I'm going to apply for, upgrade for, all these different things. And I guess the last one, just because I saw so much value in my wife getting it, oddly enough, I think I might get the Amazon Prime Visa next year when the new welcome offers come around of like $200, no spend whatsoever. You just get a $200 gift card. She was able to pay for a lot of Christmas gifts for me, her family, all these different things on that one card alone. So I think pretty sure when the time hits, I'm probably going to apply for that card as well. It just seemed like the easiest value ever. And considering I am at 224 right now, come June, I'll be back at 124. And then I probably will be 024 just a couple months after that. I have a lot of leg room and cards that I can apply for. So some City cards, Amazon card, another Chase Sapphire preferred. There's a lot of different cards I can kind of move around with and bend with in this new year to supplement all of the travel, all the flights, all these different things. I think it's going to be a very, very good year. So, what do you think about all these picks? Anything that I'm missing out that I should jump into? Of course, if you want to see any of the cards that I talked about today, I'll leave the referral links down in the pinned comment. And of course, again, if you go on AnthonyVenture.com, my website, click the big yellow button, you're going to see a lot more offers of cards that we talked about in this video today. And obviously, if you use the link, I salute you and I appreciate you. But as always, thank you guys for being early to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much.